what I want to do is make it so that when we fall down the pit here, we can't fall through the floor. So that way we only fall through here. So I have an idea for that. I'm thinking that we can check to see if we're falling. Also, if we're sort of clipping into the edge and then stopping ourselves. So let's go into our player physics system. And where is that code living? All right, so here's this feature. If it's a pit and if we're colliding with the pit, then we fall down. Basically, we set ourselves, we're no longer on a surface. And I'm thinking that we can also check to see in here. All right, we're colliding with the pit, but we also want to check to see, are we down, like even by 1 pixel? Are we 1 pixel below the, I guess like the surface, the surface floor Y? And floor Y is set to probably, well, it's gonna be interesting because it's gonna be set to surface floor Y the first frame, but after that it'll be set down here, and so I can't use surface floor Y. But we can actually use the edge of the pit. So we need to check to see if our feet are 1 pixel down below the surface floor. If they are, actually, I think it's easier if we're not on the surface anymore and we're colliding with this pit. Then that means we want to now collide like with the outside of the pit. Okay. So that's us saying, are we colliding with the other? And is our location Y plus, okay, is our feet below the floor? And are we on the surface? So now that we're below the, okay, so this is not going to happen the second time. After this, we may have to do an else if. Are we colliding with the pit? So self dot is colliding with, we have our location and we have the feature. And is the right hand edge of us clipping outside of the pit to the right? Okay, I think we can do this. So we'll get our right hand edge. So that's going to be location.x plus self.width divided by 2.0. So that's our right hand edge. And so we want to check the pit is is that greater than the right hand edge? So if that is greater than the right hand edge, so that's going to be the feature dot location dot x plus feature dot width divided by 2.0. Okay, so if that's true, let's reset our location. So location dot x is going to be equal to the feature dot location dot x. So this is going to be weird. Plus the feature dot width divided by 2, but then we want to subtract self dot width divided by 2. So that way it moves us right to the edge. And I think that's all that really matters here. Okay. Now I feel that we also need to check to see if we're on the surface. Although I think we can maybe do that check. Let's play this really quickly and see what happens. I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is that we can no longer jump over the pit, which will be unfortunate, but yes, it's going to be. All right, let's run this. Okay, that worked. Let's try falling into the pit and seeing it gets stuck down. Oh, okay, so it just didn't. None of it worked. None of it worked. Okay, so what happened here? If we're colliding with So we should, I was thinking we should be hitting this. But I'm guessing that this is never happening. Do a debug. Where are you erroring out now? Cannot resolve macro create line stringify macro error. Okay. Rust analyzer. Right. Okay, so that's exactly what I expected. That print line, that debug statement never happened. So it's not actually hitting that line of code. So my logic is incorrect there. So let's take a little deeper look into this and figure out what's going on. So we're pretty sure that this is working. So if we debug U, starting to fall, and this should happen only one time. There, it should have happened there. And we got that starting to fall. Now, I'm wondering if we don't want this, maybe we don't want this to be an else if. Although it should be false here because we're no longer on the surface. Now we're on the cave floor. This would be false. So else if, are we colliding with the other feature? And is our width is the right hand side of us, is that greater than the right hand side of the feature? Now it's, I mean, I suppose maybe not. What if I do this as just another if here? Is colliding with this other feature, and the right hand side of us is colliding with it. Now I wonder, we can also maybe just ask, is the right hand side of us clipping the feature? Let's try this. Okay, that worked. We got the clipping the right side of the pit. We're able to fall in, and that was good, I think. Now, if I make this an else if, does it still work? So the colliding with the pit. Oh, is colliding with the pit where we're fully enveloped? Okay, yes, that still works. Perfect. And then can we still jump over it? No, and we sort of got stuck there. We can't go down any further. So we're gonna have to only do these checks like here. Maybe something like if our head is above here, but our feet are below that 1 pixel. So if we're falling. And I wonder if we can do that as an is falling function. So colliding with, what is... I think we're doing this with, is any part of you colliding with? Double check our logic here, because I think maybe this is incorrect. So this is the left-hand side of us needs to be, so our left side is to the right I think the way we want it is the left side needs to be to the right, to the left of the right side. Our left side needs to be, okay, I'm gonna, so if we have, I wish I actually have a Wacom tablet now. We could set that up in some draw stuff. That might be interesting. But basically, if our right side is greater than the left side, and the left side is less than the right side. Okay. So if the left side, that's you, if that is greater than, so that must be greater than, kind of want to like almost make this into their own um, just variables to sort of help out with the wording of this. So this is going to be player left is equal to location.x minus, so minus self.width divided by 2.0. Player right is equal to location.x plus self.width divided by 2.0. That player top equals location dot y minus self dot height divided by 2.0. There. Bottom equals location dot y plus self height divided by 2.0. Okay, and then we have the feature. So that feature, and I think I can just do this by duplicating you. And instead of player left, right, you're gonna be, oh, too many. You're going to be feature left, or I guess other left. Other left, right, top, bottom. Location, so instead of location now, you're going to be other dot location dot x and y's. And then instead of self, you're going to be other dot width or other dot height. All right, so then we should be able to return the algorithm, like actually do our Boolean check here. Okay, so if the farthest away, so if the left hand side of us is like, I guess like, are we not on the left hand side of it, or clipped in from the left? So that means the right hand side is to the left. No, the right hand side is to the right of the left hand side. That means we're at least potentially clipping it. So that's going to be the player right is greater than the other left hand. So our right is greater than the left. Oh, hello, Lord Mizd. Can you look at this code I wrote? Yes. It'll be a good distraction from this. Let's take a look. All right, we have public mod foo. Let's see, public function public, print line public function called, and then you call private. We have function private, print line, we have function called from main unsafe, standard transmute, function publics, and then you call it as a function. Interesting. Private function called. So you're reaching in through standard memory you're going past the 64 bits, which is going to be this. So you're skipping that. Oh, interesting. That seems... Yeah, it allows you to bypass any runtime guards that might be in place. Because I could imagine, what if there was some kind of um like guard, like if guard, then like return blah, and so then you can skip that and just run private. Oh, it's not running public at all. Oh, that's what's happening. Oh, that's really interesting. You're adding an offset to the function pointer to get the other function. Well, I guess that's why it's an unsafe. So in memory, you're able to come in and say like, yeah, I want to call this function, but go off pointer-wise, and it finds this function instead. Public is needed to get a reference, and it needs to call private, so it's not optimized out. Oh, it needs to say don't do this. Yeah, we don't want to do this in our code, but this. So there's somebody on one of the Slack channels that I'm a member of who's been making what kind of, I can't remember what type of virus he's been making with Rust, but this type of thing would probably be exactly up his alley. Probably won't even work on Windows. Yeah, I don't know. I suppose we could try it. This is pretty like not terrible. We can do this. Let's see, so function main, we can copy you. Let's go find. We could actually start with WSL, so Linux in Windows. So let's go to our desktop. Do a cargo new test evil. Do cd into source main. Yeah, paste that. What did you do? You're not. Ah. Come on. You shouldn't all be comments. Why would you do that to me? Okay. I know. Well, I've used Vim a long time ago, but that was not happy with it. Hold on. Let me do it the other way. At to main. Yes, paste that. There he goes. That's a little bit better. I know. It, like, I guess, like, only sometimes, like, when it auto continues the comment, but then it like keeps on doing the indent further on, which sucks. All right, so we put this in here. We should be able to call this now. So let's try the Linux one first. So let's do a cargo run. Private function called. Ooh, bang cargo run in Vim. Nice. Okay. But let's also open this in Windows. So we want to go to our desktop, test evil, and then cargo run. Okay, this one didn't exit successfully. So Linux it works, Windows not so much, just like you predicted. With colon bang, you can just run normal commands from Vim. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I've like most of my Vim usage is from a long time ago, and I never really got super deep into optimizing Vim or like making it like a full editor. Usually, I just did it for like little server edits. But yeah, status access violation. You're not allowed to use this. Lord Mist, you're a status access violation right now. You forgot Windows has a thing where you gotta mark memory as executable, so you'd have to add some system calls to do this on Windows and not just adjust the offset. Oh, interesting. Okay. So you could do this if you added some system calls. Nice. Well, that's pretty cool. I'm thinking I want to also share this with the Rust team in Denver. This crazy. What do we want to call this? This is that calls a private function while bypassing the public I guess there's private function of a module. There. Pasted that in. Yeah, then you have to put up with stupid Win API, and it's just for a quick demo anyways. Yeah, no, I see that. It works with Linux, and that's good enough for any demos. Which is, that just adds Rust as a capability of doing some evil stuff. And so it makes me wonder, I can't remember the name of the competition, but there is a competition where you are supposed to write like hacks, like malware that looks good even under a code review. So, and then like, but if it still manages to do something evil, then that's pretty good. So not really bypass though. It's just pretty obvious that this would work. I mean, there's no way you'll do this in a safe way. No, but there might be a way for you to hide this and make it not look like you're doing this, but do this. Like if you get really deep in and I don't know, like figure out some way to hide what this is doing. But the point isn't to hide it, but to make it work without horrible code. Well, okay. That could be good too. That being said, let's come back to this. We're fixing our collision detection because once again I screwed this up. So if our right is to the right of the left, and so that would be like you have to reverse myself. So my right is to the right of their left. So I'm like that. That's what we're testing here. And then we also have to test that our left is to the left of their right. So and player left is to the left of other right. And then we should do the exact same thing from top to bottom. Our top should be our top is our head, so that should be above, so less than other bottom, and player bottom should be greater than other top. Okay, now we have is colliding with. Now I believe I can do an else if self dot is colliding with past the location, past the feature, and then and this. Let's see if that works for us. It does. Okay, so I can run there, and then I don't know if you. I think we saw that I got hit by it, so I couldn't clip into the floor. So let's try this again, and let's see if we can jump over it. I completely failed to jump, or at least I think I failed to jump in time. Jump. Jump too early. I think. Oh, man. Okay, this is. I think I made a pixel perfect jump. I don't think that's a good idea. I can't jump. Certainly not helpful that we don't have a reset here. All right, so if we're gonna do that, we either need to increase our jump or decrease the size of our pit. So let's try that. So go under config.json. Let's go to pit width and make you more like 75. Now what's our player width? Is 80. Okay, we have to be above that at least. 100. Oh, I can't fall down it anymore. I can't like jump over it anymore. So that's unfortunate. Now, I wonder if I make the height of this a little bit lower, what does that end up looking like? Hit height. If I make this something like 25. Still, okay, that's a little bit odd look to it. Although we could shift it down to be right there. But I can't actually jump over this. So our logic for jumping is incorrect a little bit. Well, hello Zilby. Don't need any of those. Have you made it so you're colliding with or considered in the hole if any part of your collision box overlaps the pit? I thought I was doing that and something else, but I probably, let's see. Is colliding with and yes, you're right. We need to be we need to be a little bit below it. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're not on the surface. Okay, so what if I check that too? So if we're is colliding with and um, self dot on surface. That was a bit interesting and odd. Oh, and I can't jump over there because it starts clipping as soon as I'm like the right edge of me is touching. And I think what we want to do is check to see, are we like, is colliding with is probably wrong here. I don't care if I'm colliding with it. I care if I'm in the pit fully. So maybe that's a different function we want. Maybe we want like a function enveloped is inside self. We have our location. And then the other. And that's probably what we care about. Although our head will be above it. So we really care. We really care about our feet down being below. Also, hello Utsby. I don't think I said hello. I'm sorry about that. Good morning. Awesome to have you here. Let's see. If we're colliding with it at all, and our feet are below the floor. Okay, so we're colliding with it, and our feet are below the floor, and we're on the surface. If that's true, then we're no longer on the surface. And this is part of my collide with ground. And I think of if we're, let's see, our feet. Yeah, our feet are below the surface here. I guess there's two parts to this, right? We want to check to see if are now just want to switch our state over to being no longer on the surface. So if we're fully enveloped in the pit and we're touching the ground, so fully, and by fully enveloped mean I think we want left and right. So are we left and right enveloped in the pit? I'm not sure what a good words for that would be. Like enveloped in horizontal. So if I was to redo this logic a little bit, if we, okay, so this sets, we're on the surface of falls, which means that gravity starts affecting us and we don't land on the ground, we start falling down. I wonder if we should also do our checks here for hitting. Well, no. I wonder if we should do something like this. Instead of just checking to see, are we on the surface, we just set our surface to be false. And then we also don't need to like check for that. We then need to check to see if we are colliding the right hand side of us. Okay, so then if the right hand, okay, so that's going to be our location.x plus alpha width divided by 2, so that's the right hand side of us. If that's greater than the right hand side of the feature, then we want to set our location to halt that movement. So restart our location there, and then also self dot velocity dot x is equal to 0 dot 0. Then we get rid of you. So we wonder if we can do that. What about you? What are you upset about? It's inside. I don't need you. Coding in quarantine. Hello. Good morning. Okay, so I can jump over and I can fall in. Let's bring back and make the pit look right again. I'm gonna undo the changes we had here. So if I just fall, well, I felt too fast. Like it looks like my head may have clipped just a tiny bit, but I think that was fine. If I jump in like that, I think I clipped straight through. So I don't think that worked for us. Okay, that worked. Now can I jump over it still? No. I need to actually jump. Need to jump on time. Jump. Okay. No? I need to jump before the edge of me touches. Okay. Oh man, so I need to jump way before. So that's I think that's a little bit too restrictive. So the is colliding with that is a devilish tight tolerance. Exactly. I think this is maybe like not like, we don't want this to make speedrunners with pixel perfect jumps are the only ones who can play this game. We're gonna want to like help out with this a little bit. So is colliding with is probably the wrong logic here, and that's just is any part of this touching the other, and really want to say is the left hand side of us past the right hand side. And so I want to know, are we in the X band for this? If I change this to like is colliding with to is inside horizontal path, the X path is inside X. I don't know a good word for this. You're going to be is inside X. And we're going to change this logic to be if the player right. So if the player left. Okay, if the player left needs to be greater than the other left. So I'm actually using sticky to sort of like help myself out here. It's going to be reverse viewed because the camera mirrors. But okay, so the players come in here. I want the left to be greater than the left. And I want the right to be less than the right. So that we're enveloped on the x-axis. So the left is greater than the left, and the player right is less than the other right. And that's all I want to check here. Now I could make this is falling into. Is falling into. That could be good. So it's going to be the same test here. Are we fully inside on the left to right axis, and is our bottom, so player bottom, if that is greater than, so this isn't going to be the top anymore. We need to know basically the floor. That's what we care about, the floor. But we have that. So if we do self dot surface floor y, now that's, I don't think this is a good pattern because this is essentially a side effect here. I mean, it's not really affecting anything else, but it's it's unexpected that I'm reaching in and grabbing this based upon the name here. That being said, if I try that, so is falling into location and feature, we don't need to check U anymore because that's also checking to see, okay, are we falling into U? And if we are, then do this. Now I can jump over and I can fall into it. I still clip into the side though. So, okay, we're falling into it. Self-dot-surface is false. If location.x now, are you hitting me? Are you getting a false? Like, are you? Is this working multiple times? Let's debug. Okay, so it called multiple times while it was falling through there. Okay. Because as soon as we started falling, but in that same frame, we already had clipped through. So we're no longer falling into here. So at that point, we need another check outside of here. So else if falling into is well, if we're not on the surface, but we're still inside. Okay, that doesn't make sense. I feel like we could do it here. So I think this logic is wrong. So if we just make is inside horizontal. Okay, so if we're inside horizontal and our feet are touching the ground. So self dot. Actually, this is gonna be just location dot y plus self height divided by 2.0. Okay, so if that is greater than or equal to self dot floor y, so I guess if we're on the surface, so if self dot on surface, so if we're on the surface and we're inside the horizontal of the pit, and our feet are touching the ground, so it's gonna be just the floor y. So if these three things are true, it's time for us to start falling. And I wonder how this would look if instead of checking each of these, what would happen if I just killed our horizontal velocity? If I just said self dot velocity dot x equals 0.0. So we're no longer on a surface, and our horizontal velocity has been killed. I can jump over, and I just immediately fall in. I'm trying to jump into the far side of it. Okay, that works. We've gone from no tolerance to all the tolerance, but I think that's fine. We can still fall in, but it's actually pretty difficult to fall in. What this means also is that horizontalness is covered over here too. Yeah, we kill that over there on the left as well. All right. Now, if we set our width in our config for the player width to even shorter, 60, I think that's going to feel a little bit better. Yeah, we just sort of immediately drop in there. And that's going to make it a little bit harder, I believe, to jump over. But still possible. Now it looks right. If we just jump into it fully, we go in. All right, I like that. So I would say that is us now. I'm just gonna say that's good enough for us. Now, uh, Rust Analyzer has been going a little bit crazy recently. It's been yelling at me about these macros, but they're fine. So in handle input, cannot resolve file. I mean, you should be like it's working. Everything is working. Good enough for government work? Sure. Good enough for my work, definitely. At least right now. All right. Rust Analyzer restart. Oh, apparently that's all I needed to do, and then it's just my spell check yelling at me. All right. All right. So what did we do here? We reduced our player size, but we also we preventing player from clipping into side of pit, and we'll push that up on up. All right, perfect. And so that will start running the GitHub actions, which means that we can now do a pull request to main for this. So we can jump over a pit and fall into it. Create that pull request. Now this is going to take a little bit of time because those Git actions take a little bit of time to spin up Rust and make that work for it. So we see our push happened, and then also our pull request. So this will, let's see, how long has these been taking? Around 8 minutes, it looks like. 8, 9, 10 minutes, which, like, for the number of tests we have and for how fast they work, almost all of that time is spin up time for like installing Rust, getting those things working. It's not the best. But behind the scenes, I've been setting up GitHub actions to when I post to, like, when I push to the main branch, it also compiles, creates a zip file that has the binary and the resources inside, and stores that up on S3. I'm also figuring out to add in a version number inside of S3, and then the next thing I'm going to do is, after I get that, is write a script that's going to go on the Raspberry Pi that checks, hey, what's the version number? Is it newer than what I've recently got? Let's go ahead and update the game, and basically have an auto game updater. And what that's going to do for me is it's going to allow me to ship this out and deliver it as a gift without being complete. And then I can keep on working on it, and then it'll send updates. So my dad can sort of like play it as a beta user, and then, continue working on that. Because with where we are right now and how much progress we're making, there's almost no chance for me to be done with this before I have to ship the Raspberry Pi away. So that's what I need to do. It also means I'll be able to do bug fixes. So that'll be fun and good. Now, after creating the pit, what's the next thing that we need to do? We can already move past, like, if we fall down a pit, we can then move past the map screen, and now we're stuck down here. There's nothing we can do. Of course, until we go outside. Okay, if we go outside of here, we're just done. The it crashes because it doesn't hit the map. The map ends. So I wonder if I want to wrap around the world. And we did that before. So if we wrap around the world, we go outside of it, we come back in. That might be something that would be good to work on next. You are done. Well, I guess as soon as we close the merge that issue in, we'll be done. I'm working on these. Let's see. What are the bare minimum things that we need for the game? In the meantime, I'm also gonna keep on back over here and put that button aside so I can see when it's done. Okay, so we have when we hold on to pit, we have when we move across screens. I think the next thing we're gonna want to work on is the we wrap the map around. So wrap map around, and we move off the map to the left or right. We want to move onto the opposite side of the world. So I think that might be good to work on next. We have to re-implement that again because we were factored away from using a map, and now the main scene is sort of handling all of that for us. After that, we need a way to get back up. So that's gonna have to be a ladder. A ladder up. Create ladder to get back onto the surface. Once we're in the cave, we need some way to get back onto the surface. And then once we're back onto the surface, we can get down, we can get up. We need, let's see, do we want to implement the life system so we can get game over? In which case, falling down the pit, would that reduce a life? Or would we just be fine and that's just how we get down? I was looking at the actual gameplay for Pitfall because I just can't remember it. It was way too long ago. And it seems that you lose lives when you're touching, like there's actually no life system. It looks like it's actually a point system. Every frame that you're touching an enemy, you lose points. And I think that if you get down to 0 points, you die. That might be it. I have not actually seen that. I need to go see if I can get the copy of the game to play it again to sort of experiment with what happens when you're just reach 0 points. If you fall into the pit or you get eaten by a alligator, I think that's just game over right then. But you could get damaged by the snake, or you can get damaged by a barrel. So I'm thinking after we create the way to get it back up, we're gonna want to, let's see, grab the map, create a ladder to get back up. We probably want to create a relic so we can get a point, and then we can have it so once you get all the relics, that ends the game. So create and we have create relics here. I think create first relic. This can be temporary art. Want to create the system for picking up relics and gaining points. So that means we need to create relic. We need a point system too, and to display our points to the screen. So I may have to sit down and think what exactly are like all the bare minimum things and make my issues for them. And our push worked, and our pull request is still running here. So you can see we're really close. That should be any second now. Wait, you're done. Okay, perfect. You are done. Come into you. Pull you into main. And perfect. Back to you. Update you, and then we'll just clean up. Okay, perfect. So then I will also tonight check this on the Raspberry Pi, making sure it's still working smoothly. I don't have time, unfortunately, this morning to do that, so I think we'll probably just end a little tiny bit early, and we'll move on. Tomorrow, we'll move on to whatever the next thing that we need to do to get closer to our MVP game.